Allie Beth Stuckey, in biblical terms, is a Roman, not a Christian. Before I start this piece, I want to give you a little bit of my background. I consider myself a universalist. I have Christian friends, Muslim friends, Jewish friends, and atheist friends. I see different religions as different languages to help humanity explore the big questions, like why we are here and how we should conduct our lives. I believe that history can teach us and should be our guide to create a better future for humanity. I have no issue with religion. My concern arises when someone claims, I am right, and everyone else is wrong. When you cannot listen to others, empathize with them, and let them live their lives as they see fit, that's when you've overstepped. The moment your belief devolves into hate speech is when it becomes dangerous. In both Hebrew and Greek, sin often means to miss the mark, not you're going to hell. I believe that Allie Beth Stuckey, the star of the podcast Relatable, is a better ancient Roman than a Christian, and those who follow her lead are moving away from Jesus instead of toward him. I believe she has truly missed the mark. If Jesus or Yeshua came back today, he might remind her that true strength comes from showing grace and kindness, not from holding rigidly to one's position at the expense of others' dignity, and trying to destroy their self-worth through hate speech, wrapped in a few biblical verses taken out of context. Ms. Stuckey discusses a variety of topics on her podcast and online, from pop culture to her opposition to gay marriage and IVF. She also condemns hormonal birth control, even within marriage. Stuckey supports Focus on the Family, an extreme right-wing group. To quote them, "We don't believe it's wrong to prevent fertilization, but we oppose birth control that acts as an abortifacient." Right-wing media over the past several decades have falsely claimed that hormonal birth control causes miscarriages. Stuckey tends to pander to the anti-vax crowd as well. Do I love when people think that I'm a hateful person? Of course not. Allie Beth Stuckey. Miss Stuckey wants to be right no matter the cost, whether it's someone's dignity or her own. Some might say that reflects a lack of grace. If one were to share their version of the gospel or invite people into the fold, they might want to demonstrate grace. Miss Stuckey doesn't mind making enemies. It gives her something to talk about on her podcast. She would much rather adopt a more legalistic approach to Christianity than a graceful one. She believes being a progressive is easy because society affirms and validates progressive views, whereas conservative women face exclusion. Let's say I was walking down the street, someone stopped and punched me in the arm, and then 10 minutes later walked up to me and asked if they could be my friend. My response would be no. When conservative women claim that people who are pro-choice are baby killers and tell the members of the LGBTQ community that they're going to hell, and then expect to be welcomed in with loving arms, I'm sorry, but that's absurd. Once again, those conservative women are missing the mark, especially when they have a platform that reaches thousands. There can only be two answers. Miss Stuckey knows what she's doing, or she is not as smart as she claims to be. Allie Beth Stuckey is not stupid. In fact, she is an excellent communicator, which is why she is so dangerous. The story of the bleeding woman is found in the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, and Luke. This is a powerful example of Jesus' empathy and his discarding of social taboos. The woman in this story has been suffering from a bleeding condition for 12 years, making her unclean. She was excluded from religious life and most likely socially isolated. It was believed that anyone who touched her would become unclean. There are many conservative podcasters and pundits out there besides Miss Stuckey, and I can't imagine anything like the words below coming out of their mouths. If I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Who touched my clothes? Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. Jesus. What I believe to be biblical is that a woman cannot be a pastor. Allie Beth Stuckey. Miss Stuckey writes theology books, which some may consider akin to writing sermons. She also hosts a podcast where some might argue she is preaching. Additionally, Miss Stuckey is paid thousands of dollars to speak at women's conferences, and some may view this as teaching, preaching, or delivering a sermon. Last time I checked, hypocrisy and lying were sins. No, I don't think Allie's going to hell because I don't believe in such a thing, but I do believe she is missing the mark and leading people astray. She is leading with the legalistic sense of an emperor or an emperor's wife trying to uphold patriarchal power, rather than a peaceful Christian who faced physical harm for their beliefs in ancient Rome. Proverbs 12:22. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord. Matthew 23:27-28. Woe to you, teachers of the law and Pharisees, you hypocrites! You are like whitewashed tombs, which look beautiful on the outside, but on the inside are full of the bones of the dead and everything unclean. In the same way, on the outside you appear to people as righteous, but on the inside you are full of hypocrisy and wickedness. The word hypocrite comes from an ancient Greek word hypokrites, which means an actor or someone who puts on an act. This term refers to someone who pretends to be something that they're not, especially in the context of religious or moral behavior. There is so much hypocrisy when it comes to conservative women who preach while telling other women not to preach, or who make careers for themselves while telling women to stay home, bake sourdough bread, and be submissive to their husbands. Truth without love is brutality, but love without truth is hypocrisy. Allie Beth Stuckey. While this quote may sound nice, we must consider it from Miss Stuckey's perspective, not our own. Her understanding of love is unfortunately very limited, even for some conservative Christians like herself. The love she describes promotes a 1950s-style biblical womanhood, and anything outside that circle is deemed incorrect, an untrue way to live, or an unholy way to live. Her love is conditional, whereas Jesus' love was unconditional. Rome loved you if you followed the rules. If you were a man, you fought for the army, and if you were a woman, you had as many babies as you could. And if you survived, well, then the gods smiled upon you. A lot of the conservative media, it's just pure political theater. But there is another element to it, theological theater. Theological theater, by definition, explores the intersection of theater performance and theological concepts, showing how drama can be used to explore religious themes and beliefs. This can be as innocent as putting on a nativity scene play with children singing "Yes, Jesus loves me" in the background. Or it can be as insidious as brutally executing a man who preached love, not just any love, but unconditional love. During Jesus' execution, some Romans mocked and humiliated him. Some were physically violent, while others were casually cruel or indifferent. To many Romans, this type of subjugation was normal. It was a common punishment for rebels and enslaved human beings at the time. One of my deepest fears when it comes to Allie Beth Stuckey and conservative women who have major platforms is their normalization of cruelty, wrapped in a very white veneer smile. One moment, she claims to be holy, the next, she's making a dig at another human being. You cannot do both and claim to walk with Jesus. After Jesus' death, the Bible states that when darkness fell and an earthquake occurred, a Roman centurion exclaimed, "Surely he was the Son of God." When someone is deported illegally, bullied for being gay, or loses their life because they can't get the healthcare they need, and goes septic from being pregnant and losing the child, will it take an earthquake for people like Miss Stuckey to recognize their worth? Our truth is usually Satan's lie. Allie Beth Stuckey. Then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Jesus. Read or die. Publication rules. Updated August 2024.